7 months into my pregnancy, I overheard a chilling conversation between my husband, Stephen, and the impoverished student I'd been sponsoring, Rosie. "If your wife finds out the baby in her womb is actually our fertilized egg," Rosie said, a chilling chuckle escaping her lips, "she might get so angry she'd kill herself, don't you think?" "Better that way," Stephen replied coldly. "Then all her assets would be mine. The only problem is if she decides to divorce me and kick me out. That's why we need to keep this secret. Once our child inherits her assets, we'll deliver her a crushing blow." That night I feigned sleep. The man who claimed to love me, who swore he'd cherish me forever, had betrayed me in the most unimaginable way. Rosie grew bolder by the day. Her visits, initially discreet, became brazen. She'd flirt with Stephen openly in front of me, their knowing glances and secret smiles a constant reminder of their shared deceit. Even my son, Kian, became enamored with her, going so far as to buy her a pair of house slippers. This charade continued until Kian's college entrance exams. When his scores were abysmal, Stephen erupted in anger. "How could you score this poorly?" he thundered. Kian shrugged. "So what? Mum can just buy me a spot at any school she wants." Stephen shot me a pointed look. "Your mum may love you, but she can't indulge you like this. Running the company alone isn't easy for her. You need to show some ambition. How else will you help her? Or make her feel confident enough to hand the company over to you one day." Rosie chimed in, her voice laced with feigned concern. "Kian, your dad is right. Even though Daphne is your mom, you need to develop your own capabilities. Otherwise, how will you earn the respect of the seasoned executives when you take over the company?" I watched their orchestrated performance unfold, a chilling amusement growing within me. "It's fine," I said calmly. "I've already planned everything for Kian. I'll send him abroad for further studies. Once he's back, he'll naturally take over the company. After all," I added with a chilling smile, "everything I have is for Kian." The three of them exchanged satisfied glances. They thought I was a naive fool, blind to their deceit. During Kian's studies abroad, I meticulously groomed him to take over the company. On the day of his return, Rosie and Stephen arrived early, their faces beaming. The reunion was a spectacle, a carefully orchestrated display of affection. Then, at the grand press conference announcing Kian as the new CEO, Rosie dropped her bombshell. "Daphne," she declared, producing a paternity test, "the truth is, the IVF child you gave birth to all those years ago came from my and Stephen's fertilized egg. I am Kian's biological mother." Chaos erupted. Accusations flew. Stephen, with a contrived air of regret, confessed his trapped marriage and his pursuit of true love. My son, oblivious to the years of deceit, declared, "Mum, this will be the last time I call you that. You're not my biological mother." He then presented me with a divorce agreement and a chilling offer. $200 a month in alimony. The crowd erupted in fury. "How could he?" they gasped. "After all you've done for him." But I remained calm, a serene smile playing on my lips. "All right," I said, my voice deceptively soft. To everyone's astonishment, I signed the divorce agreement without hesitation. Rosie and Stephen exchanged triumphant glances, unaware that they had just walked into a trap. "Since you've given me such a grand surprise," I announced, a chilling glint in my eyes, "it's only fair I return the favor with a special gift." Stephen frowned, puzzled. "A gift? What kind of gift?" The crowd leaned forward, anticipation building. I smiled, a chilling smile that mirrored the one Rosie had used to announce her claim. "You'll see," I said, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous whisper. "You'll see very soon." The room fell silent. Everyone, including Rosie and Stephen, stared at me bewildered. I raised my hand, silencing the murmurs. "Before we proceed," I said, my voice calm but laced with steel, "I have a few announcements." I turned to my son, who was still basking in his newfound victory. "Kian," I said, my voice sharp, "you mentioned the company. Let me clarify something. You inherited nothing." His jaw dropped. "What do you mean?" he stammered, his face paling. I smiled, a chilling, mirthless smile. "I mean the company you inherited is no longer mine to give. I sold it." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Stephen and Rosie's faces contorted in disbelief and fury. "Sold it?" Kian sputtered. But the shares were transferred to a trust fund," I continued, my voice unwavering. A trust fund that will be distributed to various charities. You see, I said, my gaze sweeping across the stunned faces. I've always believed in giving back to the community. And now I have the means to do so on a grand scale. The room was in chaos. Accusations flew. How could you? Stephen roared, his face contorted in rage. After all these years, you... I cut him off with a dismissive wave of my hand. You thought I was naive, did you? That I would meekly accept your betrayal? That I would let you and your accomplice steal my life's work? Rosie, her face ashen, tried to speak, but no sound came out. You underestimated me, I continued, my voice ringing with a chilling satisfaction. I've been playing a long game, gentlemen, a game that you both thought you were winning. I turned to the crowd, my smile widening. And now, I declared, the real game begins. The room fell silent, a hush descending upon the crowd. Everyone watched as I rose from my seat, my eyes gleaming with a cold, calculating light. Welcome to the game, I whispered, my voice barely audible above the stunned silence. A game where the stakes are much higher than you ever imagined. And as I walked away, leaving behind a trail of stunned faces and unanswered questions, I knew this was just the beginning. The beginning of my revenge. The limousine glided smoothly through the city streets, the windows tinted to obscure the view from the outside. Inside, I sat back, a serene smile playing on my lips. The game had just begun. My first move was to contact an old friend, a renowned private investigator with a reputation for being discreet and ruthless. I handed him a file containing all the information I had gathered over the years, their financial dealings, their hidden accounts, their every move meticulously documented. Find their weaknesses, I instructed, my voice low and dangerous. Find something that will bring them down, something that will ruin them completely. The investigator, his eyes gleaming with anticipation, took the file and bowed his head. Consider it done, Miss Stella. Next, I turned my attention to Kian. He was, after all, the key to this entire operation. I had ensured his education was top-notch, not just in academics, but also in the art of manipulation and deception. I had subtly guided him, turning his arrogance into a weapon, his desire for power into a burning ambition. I contacted him. A simple text message. The game has begun. Kian, ever the ambitious one, replied instantly, I'm ready to play, Mother. The message sent chills down my spine. He was more like me than I ever imagined. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The investigators' findings were damning, revealing a web of illegal activities that could bring down Stephen and Rosie in an instant. I, meanwhile, began to orchestrate my own counter-offensive. I contacted old business associates, rekindled dormant connections, and laid the groundwork for a new empire, one built on the ashes of the old. One evening I received a call from the investigator. We have a breakthrough, he hissed, his voice low and urgent. Rosie has a hidden offshore account, a substantial one, and there's evidence of money laundering. A slow smile spread across my face. It was time to make my move. The next day I called a press conference. The room was packed, the atmosphere tense. I stepped onto the stage, a serene smile playing on my lips. I have a confession to make, I announced, my voice clear and strong. The paternity test, it was forged. The room erupted in gasps. Stephen and Rosie, their faces pale, exchanged horrified glances. I knew about their plan from the beginning, I continued, my voice gaining strength. I allowed them to believe they had won, to bask in their false triumph. But all this time I was preparing my counterattack. I then proceeded to reveal the investigators' findings, exposing their illicit activities to the world. The room was in an uproar. Accusations flew, cameras flashed, and the once triumphant couple now stood exposed, their faces etched with terror. As the chaos unfolded, I watched them, a silent satisfaction growing within me. They had underestimated me. They thought they could control me, manipulate me, and steal my life, but they had made a grave mistake. I had played the long game, and now the tables had turned. And as the room descended into pandemonium, I smiled. The game had just begun, and I was just getting started.